Now, the name of Roy Harper may not be that familiar to you. It is to me. I saw him play in 1974. I did.
You didn't tell me that. You know, he's been sat next to me for all this time. Didn't tell me that.
Morning, Roy.
Morning,
His music
Roy.
and lyrics have inspired musicians for decades. Led Zeppelin even named a song after him. And others have seen him as a beacon of integrity for the underground scene.
Known for his uncompromising honesty and emotion, Roy is back with a new compilation album. We're delighted to say he's joined us on the sofa. Before we speak to him, we'll say hello first. Hello.
Hello.
Lovely of you to join us this morning. We're going to roll back the years.
It's a pleasure. I wish I could.
We're well in a way.
Here's a taste.
Yes.
Of Roy Harper.
Just for a moment I wished my life to see our friends all around us. And I turned to her, but I held my breath in the far Norwegian mountains.
Grey whistle test.
Hey.
There's somebody who's saying that was recorded here, Roy, in this very studio, because this is where the old.
No, I think it was. I think it was. Well, you could be right. The mists of time have descended.
It all just melted.
It all merges into one, does it, after a while?
Yeah, I said I saw you at our birthday. Was it the Pink Floyd year? Was it the Genesis year? I thought it was the Doobie Allman Brothers year, but
so then time has just melted.
Mists of time.
Doesn't matter, does it?
When you listen to your music, though, it all melts away. I was listening over the weekend to the new album, and there are one or two songs that are not as I remember them. Now, are they are they picked from previous albums, or are they reworked, or what's happening?
No, well, they are reworked. I like to call what I do with the old stuff now resculpt, because there are all kinds of things that you can do now with frequencies that you really couldn't do 20 years ago. So instead of having it laterally like this, in a way you've got it, if you can imagine, you've got frequencies from the top to the bottom that you can go in and out of and pluck from, top or bottom or middle, and just emphasize a particular thing that isn't. So you actually resculpt a track.
That's interesting. How much difference does it make to the track? Does it create
huge amounts, actually. But it's what it's great for is to remake a record that's never existed, because of course tracks are different on every record, because every different album has a personality of its own. But so you're really invading that particular personality to bring it into another one with another personality. And a lot of the time, well, when you're making a compilation, you've got to make each song sound as though it's always belonged to that record. And this is resculpting them like that is a really good way of doing it.
All sit together. Listening to you over the weekend, I was just sort of transported back to the early 70s, particularly, where it just seemed life was freer, easier, the sun and sort of lighter generally.
Well, it was.
Well, it was, wasn't it?
It was, yes, but there are so many restrictions now on movement and everything else. I think that, I was listening to somebody the other day who said that anybody who was born in the digital age, at the beginning of in other words, young people who are growing up now, are the people of the digital age. The rest of us who are older than that are migrants.
Migrants?
We're all migrants,
okay,
because we're not
moved from one to the other.
We don't do this and think like that. We're sort of we're as we were. We have to migrate into it.
Yes, it's linear thinking, isn't it? You have to move from one thing to the other, whereas they can do it.
Whereas they all do it naturally.
Yes, indeed.
But it is actually a story of humanity's continuously a story of migration.
But if, you have a huge body of work, and you influence, as we mentioned, bands like Led Zeppelin and many other musicians. Do you think, though, if you were starting out today, that you'd get a record deal?
I don't know that I'd be working in records. I think if I'd have been a young man, say, 10 years ago or 15 years ago, I'd have aimed to have become a sports. I'd have found out if I was any use at all sports-wise.
Really?
Because
Well, you wouldn't have gone into music at all.
that's where civilization's gone. That's where our Western civilization is gone into leisure, totally into a lot more different types of leisure than just music. I mean, we come from the dance set generation, and the dance set generation needed people, needed a host of people who expressed that music in a very broad way. But you know, the dance set generation has died and been taken over by a series of different leisure activities, all of which have marginalized music, or helped to partially marginalize music, so that music doesn't mean the same as it used to at all.
Although with the internet, do you not think that's expanded music? So even if you don't get a record deal, musicians can put themselves out there.
Well, yeah, you're absolutely right, but it's expanded it to that minority still. Now, there is a chance that the minority might grow because of the internet, but it's still a minority when you compare it with the 70s dancette civilization.
Let's have a listen to another of your best-known songs. You can probably guess which one this one is. Can't you?
When an old cricket leaves the crease, well, you never know whether he's gone. Sometimes you're catching a fleeting glimpse of a 12th man at silly mid-on. It could be Jeff, it could be John, and the new ball stinging his tail. Could be me, it could be thee, and it could be the sting in the air.
Quite modern.
Yeah, I can't remember the last time "Silly Mid On" was used as a lyric in a song.
Yeah, this is a love song, Cricket, but you've not put it on your latest album.
Well, it's kind of it's a different song, really. It's more kind of elegiac than just purely a love song. It's the kind of ethic that I get from being English, and it's pure England, really. It's a piece of where I've been and where we're going to, and a piece of memory for the nation, for the national memory, really.
Yes, and you still go to the cricket, don't you?
A lot.
Yeah.
I was really honoured last month to be part of a Test match special. That was really good.
You were in the studio?
Yes.
With the team?
Was it lunchtime
Did you take
interview?
the cake?
I did a lunchtime interview with Jonathan
brilliant.
Agnew. It was really good because we drifted, and then I fell on my botty, I have to say. I asked him whether or not I can do the first line of the commentary after lunch, and I found out how bad I really was.
Still, you achieved an ambition. You got into the sports
Yes.
business. Roy, thanks very
Nice
much.
to meet you.
It's been a pleasure to be here.
Thank you.
Oh.
Roy's album, Songs of Love and Loss, is out now.